Agenda for the Belton City Council regular meeting, November 24th, 2020. Due to the increase in COVID-19 cases in the area, the meeting will be closed to the public. Members of the public may observe and attend the meeting at the URL location above. So at this time, call the work session to order. We'd like to see what items we have for review and discussion.
Thank you, Mayor. This evening, we wanted to bring the council up to date on the street reconstruction and the project area at Apple Valley. Greg Rokos, our Public Works Director, is here to talk about our approach to that area.
Good evening. I want to make a very short presentation on what's going to happen in Apple Valley over the next 6 to 9 months. Went too far. Apple Valley is located just on 58, just in case people had any question who are watching online, is 58 in between Mullen and Route Y. This is an up-close look at it. It has one main road that loops through with a whole bunch of cul-de-sacs that are in it. Currently, and in the past, there's been a lot of storm sewer failures. They've been emergency failures. If you look at this picture right here, you can see where the sidewalk and the curb V down. There's a storm pipe underneath it that's failing. The resident who has that car right there in the driveway normally parks over it. It actually kind of makes us a little nervous because I'm hoping that one day he doesn't wake up and that car is 5 feet down inside the middle of that pipe. But we're going to start work on this actually next month to start fixing this under our emergency contract. In addition to this, to give you an idea, if you look at, there's two different colors here. There's a kind of reddish color and kind of goldish color. You kind of think of it as Chiefs colors. The gold colors are the ones that we've already replaced. The red colored pipe are the pipes that need to be replaced right now. And so we are actually going to start, like I said, in December and start working on these pipes. But it's part of our overall plan. Another situation out there, and this is just like one house down from the last picture I took. If you see that manhole there, that manhole is actually a sanitary sewer pipe. There's nothing wrong with the pipe itself. It's just that the fill that was placed on it years ago compacted down, and now there's a slope in the sidewalk. It's actually a trip hazard, and there's just a depression in the ground that we need to take that sidewalk out, fill it out, and correct this problem. Another problem in the neighborhood are the signs. Now, I did not Photoshop the sign. I didn't do anything to it. This is just an intersection sign that's out there. And if you can tell me where you're at, I mean, I wish you the best luck because you can't read the sign anymore. So we're going to be replacing the signs out there too. So our basic plan is this for Apple Valley. We're going to start with the storm sewer pipes. And if you would, there's pipes that's in the right of way of the ground, in the streets. There's also some that goes through people's backyards. In the people's backyards, their fences are coming down. There's depressions in their backyards. And we're going to dig all those pipes up and replace them all. That'll happen between December and probably May when we can get it all done. Then we're going to replace all the curbs in the whole subdivision. If you've been in there, you've seen how they're up and down, they're rotten, and they're just falling apart. So we're going to replace all the curbs. That'll be April to June. And then we'll start with the pavement. The pavement will be milled out 6 inches deep, and we'll pave the whole neighborhood. And that will be both the curbs and the pavement as part of our reconstruction, street reconstruction. And most likely that'll be June to October, whenever the contractor puts it in his schedule. And then throughout the summer, we'll be replacing the signs. And so come fall of next year, I know the neighborhood's going to go through a lot of construction, but come fall next year, they're going to have basically all the infrastructure will be fixed and it'll look like a new subdivision. But I just want to make sure everyone's aware of all the work we're going to be doing in that neighborhood to get it fixed and get it the way it should be. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Ryan, Councilman.
Yeah, I'm interested because this subdivision's, 20, 25 years old now, Greg?
Huh?
I think so.
Is it 30 now?
30 years old.
I'm that old, okay. And so, but it strikes me that the infrastructure's failing so quickly on some of this underground stuff. Is this premature that this all happened, or is this pretty much what we could expect from other infrastructure that's buried in our community that's still newer than this, but expected for it to go at 30 years?
It's corrugated metal pipe. And so with metal pipe, depending on how it was delivered and how it was installed, a lot of times people try to be cheap and they'll take big pipes and they'll put small pipes in the inside of it and a smaller pipe in the inside of it. So when they go to deliver it, they pull one pipe out and they pull the next pipe out and they scratch the bottom of the pipe or the top of the pipe. And so when they do that, then when it sits there, it has the galvanized is already gone and the process starts rusting. Originally, they always told us that a galvanized pipe would last about 50 years. I really see them 30, 35 years, they start going. The other thing is the influence of salt. The more salt that we use, the more these pipes will rust. And so once that corrosion is started, there's no way to stop it, and they start going away. And so what happens here is that pipe starts rusting, it starts collapsing, and it brings down the curbs and then go with it.
So it's one after the next. Do we see this anywhere else in our community that we're going to have these projects with a whole subdivision? Any other forecasts that you have right now?
I
Not to
haven't
pile
seen it.
on.
I'm sorry.
Not to pile on, but are there any other subdivisions we're looking at in the community that are going to have similar problems?
I haven't seen it as yet. I know there's other places that have problems with it, but not to this extent. This one is by far the most extensive.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Savage.
Really more of a comment. That was put in, I believe, just prior to us rebuilding and going to at least closer to an APWA standard on all of our roadways, pipes and things like that. The question I had was the same one as why is it going away so fast? It shouldn't be, even with what you described. However, to throw some more in there, we may not have been watching the galvanized specs and things like that as much when those were being done. I think we've really I'm really talking about this for the public. I think we've really tightened up on what we're doing and watching what we're doing and seeing specs as it comes in. I do agree that it shouldn't have failed. That shouldn't have failed that soon. And certainly the compactions and things like that is something at least I want to say that we are on top of that now, and that was just prior to us really studying that. And I was a part of that back then, and putting together something that we shouldn't be seeing this type of failure at all. And typically, if you look in the past, unless we've got some soil out there that's different, we should be in good shape, even on corrugated metal pipe,
Well,
if it's put together correctly.
Just so you know, we are not going back with corrugated metal pipe.
I didn't figure that you were.
We're going
You're
back
going
with concrete pipe underneath the roads, which will not fail for 100+ years. And for the people in the backyards, we're going to go with basically it's a type of plastic pipe.
High density.
Yep, HDPE pipe.
Yeah, so, yeah, I expected that was the case, but a little explanation to the fact it is failing way too soon. So there was some certainly reasons behind that we have improved and corrected on, I know, since that subdivision was put in, so.
Thank you. I got Councilman Van Winkle first, then Councilman Lathrop.
Yeah, Greg, how expensive is it gonna be, and where are you getting the money?
The cost for the pipe, our estimate's about $600,000, and we're taking out of this year's and next year's stormwater budget.
And is that funds, I'm assuming, that came from our bond issue?
No, actually, the part for the pipe will come from our regular budget. The bond issue will be used for the roads.
I'm sorry.
Is that correct?
That's correct. I was corrected. It's the street fund is the paying for the pipe, and then the curbs and the streets paid for by our street reconstruction budget, which is the bond issuance.
Thank you, that's all.
Councilman Lathrop.
Well, just to add on to Councilman Savage, that when that was put in, there was a lot of it failed within a couple of years. So the drainage that come off of the park was going down the street, instead of putting a line on down to let it go, they made a 90-degree turn just outside of the park here. The first heavy rain we had flooded the basements in those two houses there. So they had to come out and redo all of that. And then a few years later, I don't know how long it was, but that drain pipe was shooting water up in the front yard on down around the corner. So it's had a problem since day one. It just wasn't put in, like Councilman said, before we went into the proper way of doing things. And it's gonna be that way. I'm sure they didn't pack the dirt down and all that stuff through there, and they put it in, just covered it up, put the sidewalk over it. So,
Yep.
just to let you know, it's, replace it all is probably gonna be the best way.
Okay, Greg, my turn. You know, honestly, I've heard more from the Apple Valley people about the condition of the roads, sidewalks, curbs, everything else, and I don't know if I haven't even talked to you about them, so you've gotta have a seeing eye. They're gonna be really hallelujah in this, because this is a big deal for their community, and it's been, I remember taking all the staff on a road a few years ago, on the road through there, and our assistant, city director here, said, "What is wrong with this road?" and she hadn't been there before, and it was rough. And I think they'll really look at this and be thankful. And again, it shows that we're doing things in a great way and trying to make things fixed, and I'm really pleased with this. And I'm glad to hear this. This is a good deal. Councilman Savage.
I'm gonna start with the curb. How many feet is in there and how much a foot is that costing? How many feet is in that whole?
I didn't bring the number of feet, but generally somewhere about $25 to $28 a foot.
There is a lot of footage in there. And then talking about that subgrade, milling it down 6 inches, is the intent to remove that curb and that roadway and rework that subgrade that's in there? How are we gonna hold, if we just mill it down and go back over the top, we're not necessarily fixing that. Typically, I would say, and you can speak to this, we need to go a foot on each side of that curb and work that whole roadway so that it don't do the same thing again. It can look really pretty for a while, but you may not be having a subgrade fix there. So what's the plan on that? Or is there a plan?
So if you watched this last year, you saw, or the last 2 years, you could have seen what we've done. So when we mill up the pavement, there's actually places where we run into dirt, where there shouldn't be dirt, there should actually be asphalt. And so we go through and we actually fix any soft spots underneath the pavement. So it's the same thing that's gonna be with the curb. Anything that's soft in that area, we're gonna have to actually not just take up the curb, we're gonna have to dig down and put something solid back to it. So we're gonna have to get down to something that's a solid base in there. And it's usually what we find is that when they built it, they put organic material in it. So it was old limbs, trees, it could have been black dirt, something like that was pushed in there because that's cheap and easy, right? And so we have to dig all that out till we get to some compactable clays. And if there's real fatty clays, we gotta dig those out too to get to something we can compact, put some either rock back in it, in the or we do the road, we actually dig it out and we put just asphalt back in the holes. And so some places you can see it's probably 2 feet deep, 2 feet thick of asphalt in there to get it to hold.
Yeah, that's a plan, just you keep in mind, and I know financing is somewhat limited, but certainly want a good fix, and you'll find when you do a curb and you do a correction on a subgrade, then you've got a shear spot where you do a correction on the roadway, it's a different density, so it can cause a split and a break right there. So that's why I'm asking you that question as much as we can. It needs to be a subgrade that flows across to carry uniformly. If you get a hard spot, 2 foot of asphalt, that's not gonna give, but the area around it will. That's where you'll see failure, potentially. So I'm not offering advice on how to do it, but just need to really pay attention to that or we'll see failure again.
Absolutely.
Other questions or comments? Councilman Trutzel.
When we did our survey of the streets, did they ever do a core sample on this street?
Well, yeah, I'm sure they did.
So we don't know if it's really as thin as maybe we're thinking it might be.
I don't remember off the top of my head which it is. I don't think it's as thin as some of the other streets were. I just think that it's just had a lot of failures underneath it that's causing problems.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, thank you, sir. Good job. We appreciate that. You have anything else this evening, City Manager, on this?
No, there's no other items for work session this evening, Mayor.
With that, we'll adjourn the work session, and at this time, we'll call the meeting to order. Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Finn. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Roll call, please.
Mayor Davis,
Here.
Councilmember Savage,
Here.
Councilmember Lathrop,
Here.
Councilmember Trutzel,
Here.
Councilmember Van Winkle,
Here.
Councilmember Clark,
Here.
Councilmember Finn,
Here?
Councilmember Davidson,
Here.
Councilmember Peak.
Here.
Thank you. We have no personal appearances this evening. Moving on to consent agenda. One motion, non-debatable, to approve the recommendations noted. Any member of the council may ask for an item to be taken from the consent agenda for discussion and separate action.
Present.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion. Seeing none. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. On to the regular agenda. A motion approving the final reading of Bill Number 2020-51.
An ordinance approving the 2021 intergovernmental agreement with the Mid-America Regional Council Solid Waste Management District for participation in the Regional Household Hazardous Waste Program.
Present.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion. Seeing none.
Mayor Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember Savage,
Aye.
Davidson. Aye. Trutzel,
Aye.
Van Winkle,
Aye.
Lathrop,
Aye.
Peak. Aye. Clark,
Aye.
Finn.
Aye.
That motion passes. B, a motion approving the final reading of Bill Number 2020-52.
An ordinance of the City of Belton, Missouri approving a cooperative agreement between the City of Belton, Missouri and the Mid-America Regional Council for funding operations of Operation Green Light Traffic Control System in the amount of $8,400.
Present.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion. Seeing none.
Mayor Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember Peak. Aye. Davidson. Aye. Savage,
Aye.
Van Winkle,
Aye.
Lathrop,
Aye.
Trutzel,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Finn.
Aye.
That motion passes. C, a motion approving the first reading of Bill Number 2020-53.
An ordinance approving the final plat for Tradition's third plat, a tract of land lying in Section 13, Township 46, Range 33, in the City of Belton, Cass County, Missouri, and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to sign the plat for recording with the Cass County Recorder's Office.
Motion and second, discussion. Councilwoman Peak.
Yes, I noticed on here that this, of course, this is for the 4-unit multifamily buildings. And there is in track R, there is an 8-space overflow for auxiliary parking lot for residents and guests. Is this the same size as the other overflow parking?
It doesn't have as many spaces as the other lots do. It's a very narrow area, so 8 spaces was the depth that was available.
Okay, because if you drive out through there, the overflow parking that they already have, even without the construction people there, is relatively full of cars, and there was a boat parked in one the other day, so I'm sure that's where they're storing the boats. So they have no parking on one side of the street out there. And I always have to chuckle because there's cars parked right in front of the sign that says no parking on this side. But I just wonder if that's, with 48 more units, if that's really going to be enough. That's all I have. Thank you.
Other discussion or questions? Seeing none. This is the first reading. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. Wow. We're on D. Motion approving the first reading of Bill number 2020-54.
An ordinance approving the final plat for Tradition's fourth plat, a tract of land lying in Section 13, Township 46, Range 33, in the city of Belton, Cass County, Missouri, and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to sign the plat for recording with the Cass County Recorder's Office.
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion. Seeing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. E, a motion approving the first reading of Bill number 2020-55.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Belton, Missouri, amending Chapter 2, Article 4, Division 2 of the Code of Ordinances, City of Belton, enacting new provisions relating to the city's purchasing policy, and adopting the City of Belton purchasing policy.
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion. Seeing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. F, a motion approving the first reading of Bill number 2020-56.
An ordinance approving for a 20-foot natural gas easement overlaying the existing 20-foot Spire easement along Markey Road and a 10-foot natural gas easement on CB Drive for Spire, Missouri, Inc., adjacent to the west edge of CB Drive to install a natural gas line to provide heat to all the buildings that are part of the Public Works facility.
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion. Seeing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. G, motion approving the first reading of Bill number 2020-57.
An ordinance approving the reappropriation and revision of the City of Belton fiscal year 2021 adopted city budget for the purpose of increasing the budget for the new Public Works facility project and decreasing the budget for the Public Works Department.
Present.
Motion is second. Discussion. Seeing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. Okay. Down to City Council Liaison Reports. Park, Councilwoman Davidson.
The holidays are just around the corner, and that means it's time for Operation Santa. We have again partnered with the Belton Welfare Association to collect non-perishable food items and new toys for distribution to qualified families in Belton. We encourage our wellness center patrons and friends to drop off items in our lobby to help this great cause. We are excited again to offer another paint party. This is just for kids. It's on Friday, December 4th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at High Blue. Kids age 7 and up are invited to create a cool work of art for just $25. This includes snacks, materials, and instructions. Be assured the room will be thoroughly cleaned and disinfected before class begins. Space is also limited so that we can ensure social distance for all non-family members. Register now to grab your spot at the front, or you can register at the front desk or by calling 348-7400 extension 0. We hope to see you there. And then, although they were sad to cancel their holiday craft show, they're doing a virtual craft show by featuring local crafters over the next few weeks on High Blue Wellness Center's Facebook page. So please visit there to check out the highlighted vendors. Thank you.
Do we have any more liaison reports this evening? Okay, Mayor's communication. We froze last night and got wet at the Christmas tree lighting. The elf showed up. Santa was busy. It was very cold, very, very cold. It was a pleasure to give the Welfare Association a check for $8,000. But feel free, if you know of anybody who still wants to donate, we can still get that, and they'll put that money into the right place. Also, you need to know that you can still bring in perishable items, non-perishable items to City Hall, the annex. You can go to High Blue, police station, fire station, and make donations there. And that's a big deal right now with the pandemic going on. At the end of this meeting today, when we go to the executive session, we're going to play the State of the City tape. We're going to play that on for the viewers this evening. And we're going to make sure that that goes on so that they can see all the great things that the city's done. Ironically, I read about it in the Raymore paper, the journal paper. It had a great write-up there. Okay, city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. This evening, just have a couple of reminders for the council of our upcoming meetings. We have two before the end of the year, December 8th and December 22nd. And that's all I have to report at this time.
Well, I was expecting longer than that.
Nope.
Okay. So we're on communications from City Council. Have we got anything?
I do.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Can I have that?
You can hold it up.
Mayor Pro Tem, okay.
Belton's Christmas Eve jingle. While I was scrolling Facebook a couple weeks ago, I came across a post about our Christmas Eve jingle 2020. And after reading about it, thought what a great idea and fun idea it would be for Belton, the community, to participate. The research showed that this is actually posted as a worldwide event for Christmas Eve that started as a little idea for a small community in New Jersey. So how this works is that on Christmas Eve at 6 p.m. Belton time, we are asking everyone that can, please go outside your home or business and ring a bell for up to 2 minutes. 2020 has been a tough year for everyone. What a great way to spread a little bit of joy and happiness, some Christmas spirit in our community. Watch the City of Belton's Facebook page for information on Belton Christmas Eve Jingle 2020, and then please share this event. The more shares that we get, the more people will be aware and participate in our jingle. Not only will it bring some joy and happiness to our community, it will also be a great way for Santa to hear Belton's Christmas spirit with all the bells ringing. And I want to thank Jordan Lee, who works in our economic development, and she's a communication specialist, for coming up with our little design here that you will see posted. And there will be reminders that will go out, so please share. I think it'll be a great thing.
Good stuff. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you.
Well, before we go into the executive session, I want to go over some things that I'm really concerned about. Cass County, in conjunction with the state of Missouri, the Department of Health and Senior Services, that extended a state of emergency in response to the COVID-19 pandemic until March 31st, 2021, also issued a public health warning where they are strongly recommending that individuals wear masks all the time, maintain the social distance of 6 feet, wash hands multiple times during the day, stay home when sick, self-isolate from other family members, avoid large gatherings, limit regular interactions to small groups less than 10. Thanksgiving is this week, folks. You got to be smart. You got to be really in touch with what's going on. Minimize travel outside of Missouri and be so careful this holiday week. It's natural for us to want to see our families, but we truly must consider the long-term effects of the COVID. The number of cases that we are seeing are just awful. It's a bad time right now. And I encourage our businesses again to require wearing masks. Also, if you are a Belton resident, feel strongly about wearing face coverings. Please contact your Cass County Commissioner and let them know. Belton, be safe, stay healthy, and I wish for all of you a happy Thanksgiving. With that, I would like to say we are going to go right now at this time to enter a motion to enter executive session, discuss matters pertaining to legal actions according to Missouri State Statute 610-0211, to discuss matters pertaining to the leasing, purchase, or sale of real estate according to Missouri Statute 610-0212, and to discuss matters pertaining to negotiated contracts according to Missouri State Statute 610-0212, and that the record be closed and the meeting adjourned from there.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. We need a roll call, please.
Councilmember Savage,
Aye.
Lathrop,
Aye.
Davidson,
Aye.
Pretzel, Van Winkle,
Aye.
Finn,
Aye.
Peak,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Mayor Davis.
Aye. And we are adjourned. And thank you. You can watch the State of the City.
Certainly.
Good afternoon. Wow. 2020 sure has been one of a kind. We have all had to learn how to adapt quickly in these ever-changing times. The State of the City as a virtual meeting is just the most recent example. Due to the rising COVID-19 cases nationally and locally, and out of abundance of caution, I am providing the State of the City virtually. Despite COVID-19, our city has been able to continue to grow all of our industrial, our commercial, and residential sectors, and added 3 major companies bringing over 2,000 new jobs. We are truly blessed. Thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event. Extra thanks to Executive Director Diane Huckshorn for all that you do. She has done an amazing job through the COVID-19. She has continued to grow the Chamber and now has over 300 members. We have 45 new members in 2020. I would like to recognize and thank our county officials as well as the City Council members for their dedication and service. A big thank you to Alexa Barton, our City Manager. She has built an amazing team. The department heads are driven and committed to building a better Belton, and they continue to rise to all occasions. I would like to also thank the supporting city staff for their hard work, and we want to thank you for all that you do. Our city benefits from a great quality of life. Parks and Recreation continue to do a great job of making sure our city has family-friendly amenities. A big thanks to them for all they do. Our parks are our #1 amenity here in Belton. It has been a challenging year for the Parks Department, to say the least. However, they have learned how to adapt. Our city pool, with extra safety precautions, was able to open so that our families could enjoy their summer. That is pretty incredible. Anyone who knows me knows that I love the trails. Our park department has done amazing jobs on these trails. It takes a lot of work to maintain our parks and trails, so they do a very good job. Our Parks Department hosted many events and 2 theater in the park performances this summer, and I briefly attended both of the theater and the park performances, and they were very well attended. High Blue Wellness Center continues to find innovative ways to keep fitness fun and rewarding. The facility updated its look inside, added new equipment, and reinvented its group exercise classes during the COVID by hosting virtual group classes and to keep the community moving. Belton was one of the only cities in the metro to offer fall youth sports this year. I was able to go to a few of the games and watch the families enjoy playing sports on our facilities. Great to see the youth practice and play. I was overwhelmed by the amount of the out-of-state license plates I saw. Jay Kennedy, the golf course manager, is doing a fantastic job with Eagles Landing Golf Course. Rounds of golf were up 15% from last year. Wow. Golf is a great outdoor activity where you can have your space. Eagles Landing partners with the Youth on Course Foundation, which is a national program that makes golf affordable for juniors. The Youth on Course program participation increased by 400% this year, a sign of the times. Additionally, they hosted 13 tournaments, one of the most successful being the Chamber of Commerce recent Sunshine to Moonshine. And boy, was that a great time. A beautiful night, great community turnout. I got to ride around with Mike Stegner, owner of MSE Hardscapes, the title sponsor of the tournament, and visit with the participants. Our Public Works Department has been very busy maintaining and upgrading our city's infrastructure, and I mean that sincerely. A big thank you to our Public Works Department for all that you do. Our new Public Works Director, Greg Rokos, is a rock star. He does a phenomenal job. He and his team are visionaries and troubleshooters. I just love Greg's famous line, folks, "We're going to make it happen." The former CB facility is located near Markey Park. It has been acquired and will become the new Public Works facility. You need to know that this location has been vacant for over a decade and needed significant attention. Our Public Works Department has been working to bring this facility up to current day standards, and the goal is to complete as much of the renovation and in-house as possible, saving tax dollars. When you enter the facility, there will be a display showcasing the CB's history. Engineering, transportation, and water services will be housed there, and we are thoroughly excited for Public Works to have a centrally located facility. The street and stormwater bonds initiative was critical. Thank you to our citizens for seeing the need and voting in favor of these bonds. In 2020, Public Works completed Phase 2 of the street preservation project. They reconstructed and resurfaced 7 miles of residential roads, 3.25 miles of curbs replaced, and 45 sidewalk ramps were brought into ADA compliance. Approximately 13 miles of the road have been replaced since the passing of the bonds, and that's a big deal. Phase 3 is slated to begin in the spring of 2021. Stormwater bonds. The Cherry Hill Stormwater Project is nearing completion. The Allen Avenue Water Project is set to be completed by the end of the year, and the Hargis Lake Project is in the design phase. Water line projects. Those pesky water lines. We have had 21 water main breaks so far this year. We haven't got even into the cold weather. The red on the map shows the 1 mile of old cast iron pipe that was replaced and upsized with PVC this year. Take a good look at that. That's what your water goes through. This picture is an actual piece of the old cast iron pipe, folks, and we're an older community, and there is a lot of old cast iron pipe that needs to be replaced. Just drive around the city and you'll see the projects that Public Works is working on. In the past, former administrations have kicked the can down the road. No more. We've got to make a change. We need to continue replacing our old water lines. 2020 has presented unique challenges for our public safety departments. Our fire and police departments have risen to meet the challenges presented, and they continue to provide top-notch public safety. Our public safety personnel continue to make us proud. They are doing an amazing job, and please remember to keep them in your prayers. The passage of the public sales tax was critical. This year, revenue generated by the public safety sales tax paid for bulletproof vest for our firefighters, automatic CPR machines, auto defibrillators, an ambulance computer equipment for police, and 4 patrol cars. James Person, Chief of Police and Emergency Management Director, has done a fantastic job leading our community and keeping us safe throughout this pandemic. Congratulations and thank you to Chief Person for serving our community for 30 years. Recruiting has not been an easy task, and that is not just here in Belton, that is across the nation, due to the recent unrest. However, Belton Police Department has been successful and sent several civilian candidates through the police academy. Their proactive hotel-motel tier program continues to be a success. This program has designed to keep our city and hotel guests safe while they're visiting our city. Recently, they held a DEA drug that take back event for the community. Fire Chief John Sapp has led the fire department through a difficult year. I want to take a moment to thank him and the entire fire department for their performance through this pandemic. The fire department has responded to over 5,000 calls already this year. 114 of those calls were fires. 296 were vehicle crashes. 4,658 were medical calls. Our EMTs are on the front lines of this pandemic. continue to pray for their health and safety. Countless hours were spent on training and public education this year. One example of the public education, they recently had a citywide campaign on fire safety in the home. Personnel from both departments have been on call and were unable to take time off to best serve our city. Thank you to these departments for their sacrifice and their steadfast commitment to our community. Both our planning and building and economic development departments have done an amazing job utilizing their skills, hard work, and determination. This is proven by the exponential growth that we have experienced this year. In 2020, we've had over $72 million in capital investment and counting. And we've added over 3 million square feet of industrial and commercial real estate. Just look around Belton. It's getting noticed regionally and nationally. Industrial development of Belton Southview Commerce Center has been the big story of 2020, attracting major companies like Progress Rail, a Caterpillar company, and Chewy.com was no easy task. These companies that now call Belton home are anticipated to create more than 2,000 new jobs. Chewy.com is e-commerce and is anticipated to generate $2.6 million in sales tax annually. This additional $2.6 million annually will benefit Belton significantly. COVID-19 has had an impact on our commercial development projects, but look at the diversity of business growth that we've experienced this year. The Casey's expansion and the opening of Five Guys are wins for the city. Hy-Vee is reinvesting $3 million into a remodel, which include a Starbucks and a Market Grill. Care Now, an urgent care clinic by HCA, has submitted plans to renovate the vacant Ruby Tuesdays and plan to open an urgent care and a rehab clinic, which is anticipated to be operational in 2021. Terrapin Care Station, located in the Twin Oaks Shopping Center, and that's at 58 North Scott, will be the first medical marijuana dispensary in Cass County. We know that small business has suffered the most this year. However, the spirit of the entrepreneur is unstoppable. The following small businesses have all chosen Belton's Main Street. Broken Hatchet Brewery is currently under construction and is located on the corner of Ellen and Main Street. Please welcome the owners, Brad and Kara Steele. Marcellus is a home decor store, formerly the Pierce Photograph building. It was completely renovated by mother and son pair Janice and Jordan Nastiff. They sell homemade furniture and decor. Meet Me on Main Street event space, owned by Mike and Therese Stegner, managed by the Belton Chamber of Commerce. We didn't have an event space like this before. It is well needed. As an old coach, you really know your city is winning when all sectors are experiencing growth and success. Residential development is the second biggest story of 2020 and is directly tied to the addition of 2,000 new jobs. Belton has issued 164 permits this year, adding 240,000 square feet of livable space with a capital investment of $30 million. Just in the last month alone, 800 new housing units were approved. Permitting and construction is slated to begin in 2021. These new housing units consist of Traditions Villas for seniors just off Mullen Road, a new phase to the Autumn Ridge subdivision, 147 residential lots. Carnegie Village continues to reinvest in our community, the most recent being their interior renovation. You just have to wait until you see it. It's beautiful. North Point Development, 322 units located at Turner Road and 163rd Street. Case and Associates, 306 units located at Town Center Drive and Markey Parkway. $78 million with the construction of the two Class A apartment complexes. Diversity of housing options is important to communities. These newly approved projects fill a void for housing needs of young professionals, families, and active seniors. Belton is being recognized throughout the metro as a hot market. We have all experienced challenges this year. As a city, we have been able to overcome these challenges by adapting. We all know that I-49 needs to be widened. We teamed up with Raymore and Cass County and applied for a build grant to widen I-49. Unfortunately, we did not receive the grant. We are not going to give up. We met with Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler to discuss the need. We will continue to work with Senator Roy Blunt and his office to work together to accomplish this very necessary need of infrastructure upgrade. COVID-19 taught us how to stay at home, although it was an inconvenience. It gave us the ability to reconnect with our families, which meant I had lots of home honeydews. The senior center was unable to congregate meals due to COVID-19. To fill this need, staff and city council have been delivering frozen meals to the seniors. And I am truly proud of our staff for delivering these meals to our seniors. Closing the wellness center due to COVID-19 changed our methods of being active. They gave families the opportunity to get outside and to utilize our beautiful parks and trails. Things to come. I think most everyone is aware of the state audit brought on by a citizen's petition. We are ready to support the work of the Missouri State Auditor's Office in carrying out this audit, and we will accommodate its findings on completion. Peculiar Drive Realignment Grant. The first phase of improving 58 interchange is the realignment of Peculiar Drive. We were awarded that grant and are beginning the design phase and securing the right-of-way. That's great. Public Works continues to do their due diligence in applying for grants to improve our city. Recently, Public Works has applied for a Marked Transportation STP grant to improve the North Scott Corridor. The improvements will include the reconstruction of the street, 3 lanes with 2 bike lanes, new curbs, and sidewalks. Our application scores are very high, and we are very hopeful. We have 2 high-quality apartment developments coming in 2021. This is a product that Belton has not had. With Class A amenities such as a pool, clubhouse, dog exercise, walking trails that connect the complexes to local shopping, dining, and more. One of our goals has always been to grow our population and provide these types of amenities to our citizens. Along with the residential development I mentioned, we anticipate more growth and development in 2021. The industrial boom is not over. God willing, we will continue to see commercial expansion. Most importantly, coming together as a community is my hope. An example of our community coming together and showing love for our neighbors are these pet rocks that I've picked up along the way that mean a lot to us and our community. It says on the back, enjoy the small things. Pet rocks have been left all throughout our parks throughout. Memorial Park, we've seen them at Cleveland Lake, we've seen them at Main Street. Enjoy this, be a simple act of kindness that can mean so much to everybody. And this sense of community and togetherness, this is what makes Belton home. I want to take a minute to thank our regional partners. Our staff understands the value and the need for practical partnerships. We partner with our neighboring communities. We partner with Raymore, Cass County, Grandview, as well with the school district, Belton Chamber of Commerce, Cass County Corporation for Economic Development, KCADC, and Marked, to name a few. Working as a regional team is a win-win for everyone. Yes, 2020 has been a challenge. We, as individuals and as a community, have experienced tough times. But when you look around at everything positive going on in our city, it is apparent we are building a better Belton, and we are better together. Thank you.